Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into a special episode of Auburn Live Show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. Today, we have a special guest and Mr. Executive Director of OTV, Mr. Brett Whiteside. How about you, Brett? How you doing,
Hey,
buddy?
Jeffrey, how are you, sir? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. I haven't talked to you in a while.
Been a little
Uh,
while. Everybody around Auburn's been busy.
I'm telling you, man, you got these guys working overtime.
You don't have to. You don't have to get any pressure from anywhere else. Our coaches are relentless recruiters, wide open all the time, just trying to get us back to the place we know we can be.
And we have seen that, both of us, Brett, personally. We haven't seen recruiting like this in a long time at Auburn. It's refreshing. It's fun to cover. It's exciting for the fans. Really have enjoyed these past couple of weeks, at least, even going back to early summer. But Brett, OTV 2-year anniversary, I think, has come and gone. If I'm not
Yep,
mistaken.
it's fast.
How are things going?
Yeah, for sure. Well, number one, as you mentioned, we just passed 2 years, and over the last 2 years, we've been able to do NIL deals with just over 400 student athletes from 17 different sports at Auburn.
Wow.
Very proud of that. Very proud of the Auburn family, who is the only way that would have been possible. So really excited to be able to support a lot of athletes from a lot of different sports. We're excited about the level that we're able to support all of these sports. You mentioned football recruiting here a little bit. Obviously, exciting time in football, but also with basketball and baseball. An interesting stat that I just heard the other day. They believe, the first time in the recent baseball recruiting era that a top 5 baseball recruiting class was completely intact. And so every one of the guys who signed in baseball will enroll and play here this year. Excited about that and what Coach Thompson has going on with our baseball program. So just a lot of exciting things happening at Auburn, and On to Victory is excited to be right in the middle of it to help wherever we can.
Speaking of exciting and big things going on at Auburn, Big Cat. Brett, it used to be Big Cat Weekend, but Josh Aldrich made the point on X that it needs to be Big Cat Week because, as
Yeah.
we've seen, not only did Auburn pick up commitments Saturday during the event, but Sunday evening, Monday, and we're expecting that to continue through the week end. But just talk about Big Cat, what you've seen. You've been a part of Big Cat before,
Yeah,
from the
since the
inside.
very one, I was a part of the first Big Cat in 2009. I mean, what I saw from afar and what I've read is that our coaching staff, obviously Coach Freeze and all of our assistant coaches, had just did a phenomenal job not only getting these guys on campus, but just showing them who Auburn is, what we're all about. I think that it is fair to say that at Auburn, if you can get a young man and his parents on campus and can get them on campus multiple times and just show them who we are, they're going to like it. The Auburn family is a real thing. You can feel it when you're on campus and you're walking around. The energy is just a little different. And so it seems like our coaches did a great job of getting these top caliber athletes around. Big Cat was born in a way that great players want to play with other great players. And Coach Freeze has come in here and put it a little, made it a little bit different, made it his own, and seems like he's doing a great job with it.
Brett, Jason Caldwell, and I, we've been doing this for. I think Big Cat was 16 years. This was the 16th year of Big Cat, starting back in 2009. Curtis Looper, Trooper Taylor, Gene Chiswick, and
Yeah.
those guys. Jason Caldwell and I were talking Saturday, and this was like midday,
Mm-hmm.
and we were like, "Man, we've never seen anything like this." As far as the momentum that was started in the morning, and is built throughout the day. Now, I don't know that anything will ever top that 2009 because it was the first one, and it was,
Sure.
even for nostalgic purposes, that will always be the goat, as they say. But nothing like that since then. From what we saw Saturday, it was as impressive as I can remember.
Absolutely, and guys for this year and in the future, and just guys from this state and around this region and all over. Just I think that again, our coaches are just obviously relentless recruiters. Sure, NIL support's a great thing, but I always like to give credit to where it's due with our coaching staff. I just think that they obviously spend the time and energy necessary to develop relationships
Mm-hmm.
with these young people. Coach Freeze, from his introductory press conference, has talked about this 25, this 26 recruiting class is really going to be important, and he's showing that all of his staff has bought into that. I think one of the great things about Auburn right now is alignment. You hear it everywhere
Yes.
you're around, just from our board to our president to our athletics director to our head coaches, obviously from our head coach to our assistant coaches, and everyone around just fully understands what we have to do to be great. And we're all pulling in the same direction right now. It's great to see.
I thought you made two great points there, Brett. First of all, I was talking to someone Saturday evening um, as Big Cat was kind of winding down. A guy who knows a lot more about this than I do, but he talked about alignment. He talked about from the boosters to the president, athletic director, head coach, and on all the way down to staffers. And he had never seen the alignment like what Auburn has right now. And I don't know that he could remember. He'd probably have to go back to Pat Dye, to the days of Pat Dye, really, when everyone was just pushing in the same direction. And when you get that at Auburn, you get great results. And
Absolutely.
the roster isn't to the point yet. I don't think anybody would argue with me. I don't think Auburn has a championship type roster this season. They have potential. Don't get me wrong. They
Sure.
have great potential. But as far as roster building, when you get to that point, you've got everybody aligned. You get special things at Auburn. And what Hugh Freeze and the staff is doing is they're getting that roster to championship level. We've seen the 2025 class in the past 5 days went from number 16 in the country to number 5 or 6. You had commitments from top in-state players all across the board. Anquan Fagan's what was this Monday night? You had Blake Woodby, Antonio Coleman flipping from Alabama, Derek Smith flipping from Alabama. You've opened up a pipeline to Powerhouse Thompson High School, where you've got Anquan Fagans. You got even the punter, the number 2 punter in the country, John Allen McGuire, came in Saturday, committed Sunday. You've got a chance to get Jared Smith on board on Saturday when he announces his decision. A lot of things going in state for this staff. And then look at the 2026 class, which vaulted to number 1 in the country this past weekend. So Auburn's got the number 5 or 6 class in 2020. I think 24/7 has them number 5. I think Rivals and On 3 has the number 6. So you've got basically a top 5.5 class in 2025. You've got number 1 class in 2026. We talk about getting that roster to championship level and then everybody pushing in the same direction. Special things can happen at Auburn. Absolutely.
Jeffrey, one point to make there, you always round up. So that's the number 5 class.
There you go.
5.5, you always round up. And then I think it's another great point to make here that Coach Freeze and his staff are doing this during what is arguably the most difficult time in roster management history.
Oh, got some great
You have
guys.
so many things to balance. I just think they're doing a really nice job of making high school athletes a priority with filling in the transfer portal. I thought they did a really nice job of that this past spring, and just been really impressed with what they're doing.
You made a point earlier. In recruiting these days, 2 things have to be aligned for a recruit to choose Auburn, to choose any school, really. You've got to have NIL. The bottom line. You've got to have the NIL there. But you've also got to have those relationships. It's a 2-headed monster. It's for Auburn. It's the Hugh Freeze and his staff, and them building relationships with the recruit's parents, coaches, grandma, whoever. And you've also got to have OTV there to to help and supplement this recruitment. It's just part of it's just part of the way things are now. But I thought when we say alignment, and I'm going from the top down to the staffers, you guys are in there as well. How important? I know how important OTV is.
Yeah.
How important do you feel like it's been?
Yeah, I'll touch on the alignment piece because, again, I do think that On to Victory was founded under the principles of wanting to be totally aligned with the university. Obviously, we have to be an arm's length away, but within the laws and the rules allow, we want to be lockstep with the university, and it's really our mission to support in whatever ways we can within the rules and the laws. And so we were founded in a way by Auburn, men and graduates who just wanted to ensure that everything that we did was for the benefit of Auburn, right? We run a very lean fiscal operation. At least 90% of the donations are going directly to the student athletes. We're operating with transparency and compliance. I've got the compliance guy on speed dial. We're always making sure that what we're doing is the most appropriate thing. And our board members are never going to take any compensation that would be compensated for their time. So I think it all started with the foundation that was laid to ensure that everything that we're doing is for Auburn. And I think that's resonated really well with people. as they're trying to decide. I work very hard for my money. Do I want to give it to this organization? And if I do, is it going to make an impact? Well, if you follow recruiting, I think you can see that it's making an impact. And I hope those people who are members of On to Victory, and that number's right around 3,000 right now, I hope they walk a little taller, this recruiting cycle, knowing that they had a direct impact on the success that our coaches are having. And again, all credit goes to our coaches. As you mentioned, if it was all about NIL, they wouldn't even have Big Cat Weekend. You wouldn't need to. You just send them a wire and be over. But that's not the case. Our coaches are building relationships. They're showing them the things that coaches have always recruited on. Come to Auburn, get a great degree, you can graduate, 100% job placement, you can be developed and go to the NFL. So Auburn checks a lot of boxes. Phenomenal facilities. The Waltos Football Performance Center is second to none. And so Auburn checks a lot of boxes. But at the end of the day, it is human nature for someone to try to find out, is my NIL value, where does it fall at Auburn versus everyone else? And so, we're not always going to be the highest number, nor should we be. We're a place that can support you at a high level. We're a place that has supported our athletes at a high level. And really, our athletes are some of our best recruiters. And I know they were around at Big Cat too. And so just ask the Auburn athletes how On to Victory is taking care of them, and it'll speak to how we're helping them with their tax withholdings. We're helping them with the education piece and financial planning. We're doing whatever we can do to be a support system for them. By having an office right here on campus, by having full-time employees that are there to support them through their NIL journey. So, again, at On to Victory, we just want to be a way to support our athletes through NIL. We want to provide the resources that our coaches will need as they're having these conversations with the future Auburn Tigers.
I think it's important for people listening to know that, if you are a member, if you're one of the 3,000 plus members of OTV and you saw what just happened, it's absolutely, you were a big part of that. Absolutely. I thought that was a great point, Brett. But yeah, like you said, it's you're going to have your NIL. And I think you told me when you guys first started, one of the main goals as far as football or basketball or anything else was, we don't want a kid not to come to Auburn because of the NIL.
Absolutely. If everything else checks a box for them, if this is a place that I want to be, I can see myself here. I can see how they're going to grow me into an Auburn man or woman, that has the degree that I want. We're a great research institution. I want to be a part of that. But we don't have the NIL, the same level of NIL support. That can never be the case at a place like Auburn. We have too many great things going on. And so that's why we have, really tried to impress upon the Auburn family. Hey, we fully recognize that prior to 3 years ago, it was completely taboo to even give a kid a ride on campus on a rainy day. That was against the rules. And they obviously were entering into contracts and compensating them monthly. So I fully recognize that this is new. There's uncertainty, but it is permissible. It is making a positive impact. And if this is an area that you're interested in, if it's an area that you want to see Auburn grow in and be a lead in, then we ask you to participate with us. Tomorrow, we're going to launch our kickoff to campaign. It's going to run during the month of August, and it's going to be a way for people to, if you've not participated with us already, jump in there with us. We're counting down to kickoff as we go into this next season, and you will know that your support going throughout this fall is going to pay dividends as we go into National Signing Day in December and into the spring transfer portal window. I'm talking specifically football now, obviously.
Sure.
But one of the things that we do provide is for someone to choose any sport that they would like to support. You have the sport selection right as you sign up. So if you want to support tennis and golf, fantastic. We'd love for you too. We have a lot of other people who are as well. And so we just want to be that conduit for our fans and supporters to support whatever athletes and sports that they want to. We're going to have some giveaways throughout the month, so we're excited about getting this thing kicked off tomorrow.
If you haven't already and you're listening and you want to be part of On to Victory, if you want to help these student athletes, support those student athletes, you can do it for as low as $17 a month. And that $17 a month can even go to, it enters you to win some exclusive prizes in the month of August. So get signed up. You can some of the prizes include a signed football by Coach Freeze. You can get 2 tickets to the Arkansas game. So there's a lot of good perks as well. War Eagle Plus, a lot of good stuff. But I love the perks.
Yeah,
You
in
get some,
addition to the things that you already get, right?
right.
So members are able to go to practice here in a couple weeks. They're able to attend fan day for the first hour exclusively. If you've ever been to a fan day, you got lines out the door, and there's no chance you're going to get every athlete. Members of On to Victory last year, they came in, and as far as I know, everyone who came in during our exclusive hour got every athlete they wanted, including Coach Freeze, who's there exclusively for us in that first hour. So we want to try to provide value to those who are supporting our players, our programs, and so that's above and beyond what we're going to do as part of these monthly giveaways.
All right, folks, if you haven't already, get signed up to On to Victory. Go to ontovictory.co. That's ontovictory.co, not .com. Go to $17 a month. Again, if you haven't seen how big of an impact it makes, go to Auburn Live and look at all the stuff that we've been having to do and all the stuff that we've got coming up. Auburn's got the top 5 class in
Top 5
2025.
class, correct. We round that up. And point of clarification too, Jeffrey, ontovictory.co will show you a little bit more about our campaign, this specific kickoff campaign. .com will always take you to our main site. You can sign up here too. But ontovictory.co, you'll get a little bit of updates specific to this 1 month campaign. So
Okay.
either way, co or com will get you where you need to get to.
There you have it, folks. Go get signed up, become a part of On to Victory, help these Auburn student athletes and these coaches, get you that championship top roster that everybody's looking for. Brett, thanks so much for joining me, man. I really appreciate you.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Good to see you again. War Eagle.